So, I'm tired of typing with one thumb. I haven't got the email out because I'm still trying to figure out how to word address the issue that I was referred to the relief to file the restraining order so that the state police can see how these or mishandles it. And I want to be very diplomatic when I write it. And when they keep pissing me the fuck off with these idiotic fucking private ICE agents. Now, the one that just came in here today, the kid, I'm not mad at him. He's just a kid. I didn't take his picture and make a video because I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I know he's not 21, but I don't know if he's 18 or not yet. They had him working at Dollar Tree, and that's when the pandering first started. I think he said he was a military brat, and he said he went to where he said he went, was some sort of flea market type event that sold a lot of, I think it was like military surplus stuff. I don't remember what it was. And I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. And he came across very much like Caton and Burl and Michael. And I didn't think anything of it. And then next thing I know, he's in here in McDonald's standing in line, and he's like, oh, acting like he was wrongfully terminated. And I'm like, oh, now you're a victim, are you? Then they send him in here. Never mind, he's dressed to the nines in very nice, clean clothes. He's got his iPhone, very expensive iPhone, and his probably very expensive, probably, I don't know what they're called, iBuds. I don't know what the fuck they call their brand, that Apple calls their brand of I don't know what they're called. Maybe they're called earbuds. I don't know. And he's got 2 full backpacks. This is a fucking kid. Okay. And then he says, have you ever been kicked out of your house? And then I already realized what the fuck was going on. And I just put my earbuds in. I said, yep. I proceeded to sit here and deliberately show him I'm ignoring his motherfucking ass. Well, then he pretends he's getting on the phone talking about calling the homeless shelters, and I found a place for the night. Okay, what the fuck are you doing here in Essex, way the fuck out here, late on a fucking Sunday? If you've got to get to Burlington to a homeless shelter, your ass needs to be on a bus downtown, because the last buses that go by the shelters, or at least Champlain Place, I can't speak for the others, leaves at 5 o'clock. Oh wait, it's already too late, so what shelter are you staying in? Cox? At a way station? So it didn't make any sense. It just sounded like I was. And then he got super frustrated because it didn't work. I kept ignoring the shit out of him deliberately. And eventually he left. Didn't come in here to do anything but that. Didn't come in here for food. Didn't come in here for anything else. And the whole fucking lobby is empty. Or at least it was at the time. Where does he sit? Right in front of me. That wasn't The other time I was sitting over in the corner by the on the hall that goes to the bathroom, and he decides to sit over there with a girlfriend, and that was the only other time. But I mean, he's a kid. He's not going to be as committed to trolling me as these homeless adults who really got nothing better to do. And he probably isn't getting paid like Kinnear's getting paid. So, whoever his military parent or parents are, lock them the fuck up. Then kill them. Because they know better. Not him, he's just a kid. As far as I'm concerned, he's a victim who can be compensated. Him and his siblings. I am all too happy to stay out here and keep baiting these fools, but you have to understand, they're not going to, the more I entertain them, the more it's going to boost their confidence that they've got this shit handled, and the stupider they're going to get. The more boats they're going to blow up, the more schools they're going to blow up, the more people they're going to fucking kill. I've been saying that. That's why I don't understand why New York and Vermont haven't been more independent in their investigation in New York and at least getting secure comms. I'm going to sequester myself and any new potential suspects, and I'm sure they've already recruited an army, and they're even bringing in older ones that they used years ago. Like Stephanie, I haven't seen her in, Jesus, forever. So because they have a short memory, they think I have a short memory. They don't realize I remember every motherfucking thing. Just because I don't recall it every time I post, like I'm going to write a book every time I post something, they can't imagine that I remember this shit. She's standing here, I don't even fucking know you. Bitch, we were roommates at Champlain Inn. You cussed me out here at McDonald's once before because I wouldn't buy your bullshit. You think I forgot that? You think it ain't on video or on recordings? Just unbelievable. Kennedy. So, anyway, my point is, I'm all too happy to help Officer View, the mayor, obviously. I doubt that one person is the only one stalking her, or maybe it is, I don't know. And Sarah George and Bernie Hurt, we've got to have fucking secure communications. Anybody telling you not to set up secure communications is fucking suspect. Remember, they went online, pretended to be me, and got Vermont Medicaid in my name on a Vermont application. They committed crimes against the fucking state of Vermont. I have to cooperate with you. So it's not like if you set up secure comms and say, they're going to send this person to cozy up to you, and the whole point of this person cozying up to you is to try to get this information or try to kill you with a fucking lethal injection of fentanyl, or gain your confidence and try to get you into a car. So there's absolutely no good reason why I can't have an undercover, somebody that I know and trust, but I don't even have to know. Officer View needs to roll up, have a conversation, and we need to come up with a fucking code word. And then you need to have some, that's what I meant by secure comms. It doesn't mean I need to go into the Koozie building or course, that'd probably be better with all the goddamn surveillance they have everywhere. You really think we can have a secure conversation anywhere without them hearing or seeing? But for shits and giggles, fuck, we could pass notes. Same thing me and my AA team do. And it's not even obvious. You see me picking up cans? I'm not picking up cans. I mean, I do because it's convenient, but no, I'm picking up whatever they need to tell me, and I'm dropping off shit for them to pick up in certain containers. Or trash bags, like, say, a McDonald's bag. People gonna look in the trash, oh, it's an empty McDonald's bag. No, it may have my meds in it, may have flash drives, may have whatever. And we came up with this before I ever left Florida. Only I didn't have the, wasn't until I was using their little voice activated digital recorder for the most part, and then just transferring that onto flash drives. I wasn't really using my phone that much, or if I did use my phone, it was a decoy, because eventually the doctors at Boone Hospital will say, you can't record, you got to turn your phone off. Okay. And they would do a bunch of really stupid shit thinking that the phone wasn't recording. And then they would come in the room and see that voice recorder sitting there. And I'm like, gotcha. And there wasn't shit they could do about it because they were making criminal allegations. Oh, also anybody saying that my recordings aren't admissible is another lying sack of shit. These motherfuckers are making criminal allegations in the medical records, the social services records, the victims advocates records, whatever. Malingering for narcotics, and then when they say, oh, and they're also accusing me of perjury. Complaints. They're saying, oh no, she's lying to police, she's lying to health officials, she's lying, and these blah 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 blah. Okay, now you're accusing me of perjury. Nobody can it's exculpatory evidence. It either exculpates me from their allegations or it exculpates them from my allegations. Either way, anybody saying that the recordings aren't admissible or fights to keep the recordings kept out of evidence is showing their guilt. Because if their medical records and their homeless records and police reports are accurate, why wouldn't you want a recording that proves that admitted when the two sides are, when somebody's saying, oh no, that written police report or doctor's record or nurse's notes or the notes from the risk management are inaccurate. If their shit was accurate, they'd say, yeah, please do listen to the recording. I'm glad you. And the other thing the judge and any lawyer should be thinking about is, why would I record myself committing a crime and then turn around and lie and say, oh no, cause a big stink and lie and demand narcotics to the point that security had to show up, record it, and then demand that the recording be admitted? Why would I turn around and lie and say, oh no, none of that happened if it really did, and then fight and say, hey, I got to record? It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, we need a code word so somebody can slip me a note and let me know what each individual, they've got to have an agenda. They have to have a specific goal. Why are they sending all these people to cozy up to me? I want to know what makes them think that they're going to convince anybody that we already know that I wasn't the one who did the online application for Vermont Medicaid, and I'm not a patient of Safe Harbor. Why did they create two sets of medical records? We know the thing with Carrie Goulet was I've got the recorded phone call. They can't bill for that, but her notes say that I went into it was an office visit, so they could bill for it. And we know that the visit with Dr. Copeland Galore wasn't a fucking scheduled new patient visit. All the clinics were closed for COVID. That right there implicates everybody from Green Mountain Care, because they would be going, wait a minute, all the clinics are closed for COVID. Why are they doing 2 new patient appointments for blood pressure meds when they can just do it over the phone? Because you see what I'm saying? That's why I say, when these motherfuckers are dragging this shit out, saying, oh, we need her to go to Fannie Allen or whatever, Fannie Allen, or oh, we need her to go to the Justice Center. We need her. No, the fuck they don't. All these records are all falsified to match each other. So the only reason why you'd refer me over there is because you want to nail them for Brady violation, or you want to nail them for capital homicide. I guess if you want to implicate them on Michaela's murder and Brandy's murder, that's fine. That makes sense. But otherwise, you've got their own records. Just read the fucking medical records. And here's the other thing apparently they're not telling George. Whether, I don't know, I don't know if it's or not. But any deliberate falsification in any medical record makes every single record at that clinic suspect. That, let's say you catch a nurse who lies and says that she dispensed a blood pressure medication and she really didn't. And then the patient goes into withdrawal and has some cardiac thing and needs to take nitroglycerin. Even if there wasn't any harm done, let's say that whatever happened, the doctors were able to take care of it, so there was no irreparable harm, because malpractice isn't malpractice unless there's irreparable harm. Okay? The fact that she deliberately falsified that record makes every single record at that clinic suspect. Means you've got probable cause to audit every single record. Now, what Safe Harbor did was they cooked up 2 sets of medical records for somebody who wasn't even their patient, and it was pure fucking fiction. That gives you probable cause to look into Dragon, CVOE, every single partner, because it doesn't just mean that Safe Harbor and Community Health Centers of Burlington are suspect. All the doctors there are UVM, and they go back and forth to New York. And they're partnered with United Health. You've got the whole motherfucking cabal. Just right there. And with all of those clinics having security video, and you've got surveillance on everybody's phone, why do you need me to go in there? Why do you need to risk my life and a whole bunch of other people's lives? And I'm saying the proverbial you. You've got all this real-time surveillance. You really don't need me doing all that. On the Vermont judiciary, that's a little different. But maybe not, because don't tell me when Autumn Caton filed that fucking restraining order that judge couldn't pull up the record and see that I filed a restraining order against Paul Dragon and she didn't hear. I don't think there's any typed transcripts. That judge would have had to have listened to that fucking thing, and she would have known Judge Hoare was covering up for ignorant private investigators, PIs, stalking me on behalf of Dragon and Weinberg. So I'm going to bring that up in this email to Officer View. That's going to get CC'd to Chittenden, to the Vermont Judiciary. You have a recording of me demanding that these Paul Dragons stop with these idiotic PIs, which would have already, if I'm the one being stalked by a whole bunch of gang stalkers, the judge should have already been sus. And maybe she was. Maybe she really wanted me to come in there and call that out. But I don't trust the security at that courthouse. I remember I went down there to ask about filing the original restraining order when I got the forms, and that motherfucker was off the fucking chain. I don't know whether it was a marshal or private security, but this guy was nuts. I wasn't wearing an N92 mask. That tells me motherfucker's a big farm shell. I had a regular gator. Motherfucker, you're wearing a mask. What the fuck do you care if I'm wearing one or an N92 or not? If you're wearing an N92 and I've got a gator on, if you're already wearing an N92, what the fuck does it matter? And when I asked him that, and I was very, very cordial, I'm like, dude, you're already wearing a mask. Even if mine doesn't work, you're telling me yours doesn't, why are you wearing it? And he got all upset over that. Or something stupid. It was just stupid. So I already know the security's stupid. I haven't forgotten the email, the phone call from what was his name? Ian. Just call and let you know that the judge declined. And I mentioned the guy masturbating around my tit. Well, that sounds like a problem for the police. No, motherfucker, you're supposed to notify the police. Oh, and they did. They had Dragon's attorney notify McAfee at BPD. No, motherfucker, you're supposed to notify the state police. Did McAfee notify state police? Because Paul Dragon was he's a government agent in more ways than one. He's a chief admin at Vermont Human Resource Agency. He's a fucking board member on the school, something to do with the Vermont school system. He's Peter Welch's boy. I remember when I read up, Peter Welch let Paul Dragon write those COVID policies, which were absolutely in batshit woke crazy. Made no sense. Just shit that looked for a reason to put people out. A dangerous pandemic. And here's another thing. They're just going to keep flying in more and more of these fucking people. What are we going to do? Do this for the next 20 years? You're going to lock up half of the fucking Vermont population. So I make these videos not just for your benefit, but remember, you're putting military, active, and veterans' lives on the line. They're not about to play with this shit. They can deal with these terrorists however the fuck they see fit. And America's policies are, you don't negotiate with terrorists. You try to convert. Dad sees I'm doing everything I possibly can to fucking end the bullshit, and motherfuckers keep dragging it out. Motherfuckers who work for George Soros. Trump talks all this shit about George Soros. I remember the Jimmy Dore show where he just sent 60 billion or some astronomical number of billions to Argentina or someplace, and it was ultimately to bail out George Soros' son, which has something to do with his empire, one of his fucking organizations. Any channel who talks about Trump like he's not still a Democrat, like Hunter Biden and the Clintons and Swalwell is separate from Trump, I don't trust you. If you've been contracted with legacy media to go on and talk, I don't trust you. That means you were contracted with BlackRock. I don't give a shit if you're military or JAG. And I'm thinking that Vermont may be baiting all y'all motherfuckers. They know and pander and bait, and they're using it to their advantage. They're watching you all fucking use me as a fucking private dick and not pay me and make plenty of money and then fucking exploiting Epstein's victims that are actually in the DOJ files on the trafficking on that particular, on the sex crimes. Like, and when you're acting like they're the only victims, and then making an issue about how they're triggered every time they see his name in the news. Excuse me, I don't see the people from Palestine who have watched their kids get blown up, entire families get set on fire because the U.S. and Israel bombed a tent city of people that in Rafah, and people are running out of their tents with their children in their arms on fire. I don't hear them. Tara Palmieri, are you going to start interviewing Palestinians about how they're triggered because the news, because Bisan, who was a kid when she started her TikTok channel, covers the carnage and the genocide in Palestine, which is by Israel, which Epstein wore an IDF t-shirt? Are you going to interview us Native Americans to see if we're triggered when we see stuff? Obama letting private militarized security brutalize Native Americans for their protest at Standing Rock? How about you, Katie? Katie Fang? You going to go interview some Holocaust survivors? There's tons of Holocausts at this point, acting like the Nazi Holocaust is the only one. Hitler was inspired by the Holocaust of 100 million that we know of.